One th- one thing that basically rides my ass about most musicians nowadays is the fact that they switch genres to either they switch genres or they switch record labels in order to make more money, in order to finance their career a little bit and increase like audience attendance. And it's just to me, I just find it annoying how a lot of these awesome musicians just sell out by like switching their genre from alternative rock to just straight up pop. And I am definitely not a pop fan at all. I mean, I just can't stand any like boy bands or anything like that. But I mean, for a few examples are when Gwen Stefani was in No Doubt. Although the band did sort of kind of like reach a little bit of mainstream during like the early 2000s, they had like a more pop reggae sound during that time. But like during like the 90s, they were more like punk rock, mixed between punk and ska. And they had songs like Just a Girl, Spiderwebs, and Sunday Morning. Those songs, they're still awesome to me. I listen. And Don't Speak, that's also an awesome song. Though that's how I remember Gwen Stefani. I do not remember her as what she is now. I don't remember her as a pop singer who did that annoying holla back girl or anything else like that. you know, and all the new shit I'm not even going to explain. And another example is when is Liz Fair. She used to be like in the more like lo-fi genre. Similar to early Beck or like early folk implosion. All that good shit. And now and like a little bit of like sort of similar to like Guided by Voices. Another band that I truly dig. Their shit is awesome. But anyway, you know, in like the early 2000s, she became more mainstream, and as a result, she had developed a more like pop sound, which was fucking annoying to me. Like, it's like one of the worst. She had like I forgot what the album was called because I don't follow the later albums of her. I only stick to like the first two albums she released. I prefer Supernova and Never Said and all that and Fucking Run. Those songs are awesome. I don't remember her. I don't prefer the stupid shit that she made and what you could possibly hear on like the PA system at your grocery store. Because it's annoying. But and another example is when Linda Perry was with Four Non Blondes. For a very short amount of time. Four Non Blondes is a great band. I have that one album. I actually have a mini poster that I have of that band. It's I still listen to that song. I still listen to What's Up. But a few like 8 or 9 years later, at like long after, they split, Linda Perry, became more of like a songwriter for like pop musicians. I'm not going to get into that, but you know, if you watch Linda Perry behind the music, it will show like towards the end it will show like she started writing songs for more like pop artists, and so you can probably watch that. But one band that there is this like one particular band that I truly like, but the lead singer became like more popish, in later years. And the band is this one. This is a band called Eve's Plum. This is their most most accomplished album, Envy, released in 1993 from Sony 550 Records. Sony 550 Music, you know. So their single "I Want It All," that's a great song, and I hear, whenever I go on like a music choice, there's like this thing called rock hits. Well, music choice is like cable stations that basically play just music, but they have like different genres, and like rock hits is like they play like a mix between like early to late 90s to like early 2000s, like hard rock, post grunge, and just straight up grunge, and just like straight up alternative. And like their song, this band song, I would hear that one song like at one point or another whenever I listen to that. Whenever I watch and listen to that station, and this is basically like their, like I said, this is like their more accomplished album, and basically they're more well known. Like they had made other albums, but they've most of them are just like obscure, and this band has since fallen off the, well, they haven't fallen off the face of the earth. They just straight up broken up, and like a few years afterwards, like after their split, the lead singer, Colleen Fitzpatrick, she became like a more she became like a pop singer, and you probably know her today as Vitamin C. And those who are familiar with Vitamin C are probably familiar with that one song that she made in the early 2000s called Graduation, a song which I don't care for. It reminds me too much of when I was a kid, and a lot of people that I know would play that song at camp, and it's not exactly my favorite song. Let me put it to you that way. It just annoyed the shit out of me. But anyway, so that is a great example of how musicians like switch genres to to increase like a wider attendance and to make more money with their music career. And quite frankly, I think most musicians should stick to it though. Should stick to the genre they have, that they've had for since they got together. Korn has sort of became a little. They have like a different sound nowadays, but I still like them. And Weezer kind of, they became a little more mainstream when they came out with that song Beverly Hills. But like that song is not too bad. At least they still have like their more. At least they're still loyal to their like more alternative rock sound. But this band is like largely underappreciated. This band I would listen to all the time. I seriously love all the songs on this album. I would love to find more albums by this band if I ever like I bought this at my nearest Goodwill store for like I said, $1 during the beginning of fall 2017. I bought a bunch of CDs that day, and Super Furry Animals. Also bought like a Social Distortion album, but like I was totally hoping I would see an EVE'S Plum album at Goodwill or Half Price Books, because like I always see a bunch of like alternative rock CDs in the clearance section, and and this is definitely a good example of the many CDs that I found in both stores. And if for those of you who are like a fan of like sort of like either like No Doubt or like earlier No Doubt and earlier Liz Phair, I would definitely check this band out. I would definitely like pick up this particular album. I mean, if you can find like any of their other albums, that would be awesome. But I would definitely check this one album out, and because it's basically their best album yet. Like I said, I'm not sure if like any of the other albums are easy to find, but I mean, you'll never know. Reckless Records, they sell a lot of good shit. And my half price and Goodwill, you'll never know. You may just as well come across this one, and if you do, pick it up and see what you think. So, EVE'S Plum, their album Envy, released in 1993 through Sony 550 Music. Thanks for watching.